You are not alone in your body. Something lives inside of you. It thinks. It feels. It hungers. And sooner or later, it will want control. Biophage is a horror tabletop RPG where you play as two entities sharing one body. A host and a parasite. One of you wants to survive, the other one wants to feed and grow stronger. And the entire game is about you managing that relationship, while navigating a world that fears you, wants to use you, or would rather see you dead. At its core, Biophage is about three things: humanity, survival, and control. The resolution system for it is quite simple. When you attempt to do something risky, the GM sets a likelihood of you succeeding based on the description of the action, the circumstances, etc. And then you roll 2d6 separately. The first d6 is the result die, and its result can either be a yes or a no depending on the likelihood of success. Then, the second d6 is the effect die, and can either let the roll be as is or alter it, turning it into an and or a but. Your attributes also act not as a bonus, but rather as a resource that you can spend to reroll unfavorable rolls, so keep that in mind for later. Each character is shared between two players, each playing a different side of this union. The host, who represents identity, morality, and the human side of the character, and the parasite, who represents instinct, power, and the monster side of the character. And to represent this two-sided struggle is the bond meter. It tracks who is in control, the host, the parasite, or neither of them. Every argument and moment of non-cooperation can shift it, giving control to either side. In these moments, both sides roll a d6, and the highest one's action gets to go. Your actions can increase or decrease control, and throughout the session it can go up and down a dozen times, but total control has its flaws. If the host is dominant, they appear and act fully human but cannot use certain mutations, while on the flip side, if the parasite is dominant, it becomes incredibly more difficult for them to act and interact with humans, mutations become easy to use. However, when one of them is in control, this does not mean the other one does not get to act. They can still interject and force the other side to take a single, uncontested action by spending influence, another resource that's directly linked to your relationship with the other side. Another core mechanic is hunger. Hunger increases passively or actively if you use all our mutations, going from level 1 to level 5. As it goes up, interacting with humans becomes difficult and eventually dangerous. Eating human flesh is the only means of you slaking your hunger, and you do that by hunting. Here's a small scenario for you to see all these mechanics and concepts in play. You're hunting someone in a dark alley. You, the host, wants to avoid killing them, maybe just scare them off. The parasite disagrees. Both of you roll to see whose action goes through, and you win. You try to scare them off and roll, but end up rolling a no and. No, the target is not scared, and rather, they're ready to throw hands. The parasite offers you a deal.
Let me take over. I can fix this.
You accept, and control goes to the parasite. But now, there's blood in your hands. And the bond shifts. Biophage isn't about you being a hero. It's about surviving, becoming something less or more than human, and how the two of you, the host and the parasite, get to survive despite ever-changing odds and the threats of the powers that. If that sounds interesting to you, there is a free Kickstarter with everything you need to play for you to check out, and a Kickstarter for the full book on the way. Links for both are in the description, and make sure to follow if you want to learn more about how the game plays, and perhaps some extra fun stuff that's coming in the near future. Trust me, you will not want to miss this. I only have one last question for you.
Will you take control?